Hey everyone, how's it going? Before the video starts, I just want to say I know a lot of people are upset with this decision, but I will not be allowing any more what if suggestions in my YouTube comments section. I won't go into as much as I posted in my community post, but just posting something for your own interest instead of commenting about the story I worked myself for is extremely disrespectful. And the amount of comments on my last video that wasn't even commenting about the story is absurd. The Discord link is in the description if you want me to do a what if that badly, but other than that, you can't. I'm sorry for this, but I want actual engagement within my community, not fake engagement that's solely for the commenter's interest. Now, with that out of the way, welcome to What If Anakin Looked After Boba Fett After the Battle of Geonosis. This was a really fun one to write. I could have went a couple different directions with the story, but I really enjoyed how this one turned out. Remember to subscribe and to hit the bell notification so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to check the video if you enjoyed. So sit back, buckle up, and set the coordinates in the hyperdrive because you do not want to miss this one. So without further ado, let's get right into the story. Our saga unfolds within the tumultuous confines of the Geonosis arena, where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme Amidala find themselves locked into a fierce struggle against the savage beasts that roam its sandy expanse. With the specter of a burgeoning separatist threat looming overhead, the trio fights valiantly, striving to stem the tide of impending conflict. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme, under Anakin's protection, find themselves ensnared but swiftly break free, engaging ferocious adversaries threatening their lives. Amidst the fray, a glimmer of hope emerges as hundreds of Jedi lightsabers illuminate the arena, offering reinforcements. Equipped with new lightsabers from fellow Jedi, Anakin and Obi-Wan confront the relentless onslaught of droids and Geonosian assaults. Anakin remains steadfast by Padme's side, shielding her from harm. Yet, a sudden disturbance in the Force draws Anakin's attention skyward, where Master Windu dispatches a Mandalorian adversary. Anakin's gaze shifts to a young bystander, companion to the instigator of the conflict, who rushes to the fallen Mandalorian's side. It was just a boy. Amidst the chaos, Anakin discerns the familial bond between the boy and the fallen warrior, evoking memories of his own loss and the vengeance he once sought. Without hesitation, Anakin intercedes, intercepting a lethal blast aimed at the boy, whose gaze meets his own. The boy offered no thanks, instead unleashing a torrent of accusations at Jedi, accusing Anakin of his father's death. Anakin countered, perplexed, asserting he had no recollection of killing a Mandalorian and reminding Boba of the light-saving intervention moments earlier, expecting at least a modicum of gratitude. Yet, Boba's silence spoke volumes. He hadn't realized the Jedi's role in his rescue, absorbed in his own turmoil. Anakin, catching sight of the boy's tears amidst the chaos, emphasized with his plight, sharing his own sorrowful tale. With a deft maneuver to shield them from incoming fire, Anakin divulged his forbidden bond with his mother, recounting her tragic demise and the ensuing outburst of anguish that led to his violent retribution against the Tusken Raiders. It may have been a bit far for Anakin, but he truly didn't want to see this boy go down the same path as himself. Boba, now engaged in a candid exchange with Anakin, queried the Jedi code of non-aggression that Boba's father told him about, juxtaposing it with Anakin's actions. Anakin, while deflecting enemy fire, confessed the conflict between Jedi teachings and the overwhelming grief that consumed him, vowing to prevent others, especially children, from succumbing to the same destructive path. As the tide of battle turned against the Jedi, Anakin urged Boba to retreat to safety, acknowledging the imminent peril that was about to bestow them. Despite the Jedi's apparent defeat, Boba found himself torn, grappling with the conflicting perceptions of the Jedi. One had taken his father's life, while another had shown genuine concern for his well-being. Reluctantly, Boba heeded Anakin's advice, navigating through the chaotic battlefield to watch from a distance as the clones arrived. rescuing the Jedi and leaving Boba alone, clutching his father's helmet amidst the wreckage. The Battle of Geonosis culminated in a Republic triumph, though Count Dooku managed to evade capture, leaving Anakin with a grievous injury, heralding the dawn of the Clone Wars. Anakin's initial mission post-Geonosis led him to the Battle of Teth, tasked with rescuing Jabba the Hutt's son and the notorious gangster's offspring. Following a brief skirmish with Dooku, Anakin awaited extraction, poised within the sanctuary of Jabba's palace after delivering the son back to the gangster. Meanwhile, Boba Fett, spurred by the events on Geonosis, embarked on a path to establish himself as a bounty hunter, driven by desire to carve out his own legacy and to accrue credits. Despite his lineage granting him opportunities, doubts lingered among the Hutts regarding his capabilities. After all, he was still a youth. While awaiting his next assignment within Jabba's domain, Boba's attention was drawn to the presence of the Jedi who had saved him on Geonosis, engaged in confrontation with Count Dooku, the primary source of his late father's employment. Struggling with conflicting loyalties, Boba grappled with the urge to aid the Jedi who had shown him compassion, yet remained tethered to the legacy of his father. Upon the Jedi's return, Boba seized the opportunity to approach him, his intentions unclear but driven by an undeniable need to converse. Anakin, recognizing the familiar face, extended his attention to the young bounty hunter, initiating an unexpected exchange fraught with uncertainty and unspoken tension. After a brief pause, Boba initiated the conversation, expressing gratitude to the Jedi for saving him on Geonosis and offering apologies for his previous animosity towards Anakin following his father's demise. Anakin's genuine smile touched Boba's heart, offering a sense of warmth he hasn't felt in weeks. Anakin, in turn, reassured Boba that Anakin's actions against the Tusken Raiders didn't define his true character, emphasizing Anakin's aversion to seeing others endure similar suffering. Recognizing the need for compassion, Anakin pledged his support to Boba, underscoring the Jedi's duty to protect all life across the galaxy. Anakin elucidated the Jedi's ethos, emphasizing their commitment to defend every living being, irrespective of origin or circumstance. Even Windu, who had confronted Jango, adhered to the doctrine of defense rather than aggression. Reluctantly acknowledging the Jedi's rationale, Boba conceded that they were acting in self-defense, with his father inadvertently ensnared in the conflict. Though difficult to accept, Boba recognized the complexity of the situation and the Jedi's dedication to preserving life amid the turmoil of war, and that was all just because of Anakin's compassion towards Boba. Ahsoka swiftly entered the palace, seeking her master, and inquired about his activities, noticing the presence of a ship meant to collect them. As Anakin walked away, Boba observed, feeling the familiar sting of isolation. Dropping his head, he noticed something on the table, a personal communicator belonging to Anakin, offering a private line for Boba to reach him. Securing it discreetly, Boba tucked it in his waistband behind his holster. Navigating the galaxy on various missions, Boba aimed to steer clear of entanglements with the Republic or the CIS, though such avoidance proved challenging for an aspiring bounty hunter. Amidst one such mission for the CIS, Boba had found himself ensnared by Republic forces, imprisoned within their confines. Desperate, he pleaded with the clones to contact Anakin Skywalker, a name he gleaned from holonets, celebrated for his prowess in battles across the galaxy, but a face that Boba recognized from the battlefield of Geonosis. Quickly denied by the soldiers, Boba recalled the communicator hidden in his waistband, untouched by the search. Swiftly composing a message to Skywalker, he sought aid in getting out of prison, then concealed the device once more, awaiting a response. Anakin swiftly reached out to Boba, inquiring about his whereabouts. Boba disclosed his confinement on Coruscant, explaining how a seemingly routine mission had gone awry. Anakin, feeling a pang of sympathy, advised Boba to remain in place while he explored potential solutions. Boba complied, discreetly powering down the communicator before any clone could catch him using it. Meanwhile, within the Jedi Temple, Anakin gazed pensively at the Coruscant skyline, finding a reflection of his own past struggles in Boba's plight. Both had endured the loss of a parent, a shared hardship that had shaped their paths. Anakin pondered Boba's fate, feeling a sense of responsibility for the young bounty hunter's predicament. Could he intervene on Boba's behalf? despite the complexities involved. Determined to try, Anakin descended to the prison, boldly requesting Boba's release from the guards. Surprisingly, they acquiesced, recognizing the futility of detaining a mere youth for their purposes. Relieved, Anakin watched as Boba emerged into his presence, free once more. Boba found himself genuinely impressed by the Jedi's continual surprises. It seemed that the Jedi held a glimmer of hope for him. As they boarded the ship, Anakin inquired about Boba's actions. Boba slouched in his seat, admitting that he and some other bounty hunters had been tasked with stealing armored vehicle blueprints from Quaid factories. However, they nabbed the wrong plans, leading to a compromised position in their hasty retreats. Boba confessed he was the last to withdraw, a decision that ultimately cost him. Anakin, eyeing him intently, questioned Boba about whether credits trumped pride. Boba, with defiance, asserted that they did not. Anakin pressed further, asking why Boba would pursue a path he knew wasn't right for him. If not for credits, then what? Boba understood, and he knew the underlying truth. He sought to follow in his father's footsteps. Yet now, that aspiration seemed more like a distant dream. He knew he could never measure up to his father's fierce determination. Boba lacked those qualities. Instead, he harbored a deep-seated hatred without understanding its origin. In a moment of emotional outburst, Boba lashed out at Anakin, screaming about the loneliness and isolation he endured in this unforgiving galaxy. He had no family, no purpose, and no genuine hope. Tears streamed down his face, a rare display of vulnerability. Anakin beside him remained silent, emphasizing with Boba's pain. Anakin, having experienced his own share of solitude, realized the depth of Boba's suffering. Without a father to turn to, Anakin had only his mother's teachings to guide him. With a heavy sigh, he resolved to take action. As Anakin left to make a crucial decision for Boba, leaving Boba alone in the cockpit, gazing out into the vast expanse of space, for the first time, Boba allowed himself to absorb the beauty and vastness of the universe. His life had lacked purpose in his solitude, but with Anakin's presence, a glimmer of hope emerged. A hope for a new beginning, a future, and a life filled with possibility. Anakin returned to the cockpit, redirecting the course towards Coruscant, revealing to Boba that he had a senator friend in the city who could offer him shelter until he got back on his feet. Boba, surprised, inquired if the senator was alright with his presence, to which Anakin just smirked and nodded. Upon reaching Padme Amidala's apartment, they found her absent. Anakin decided to wait with Boba until her return to introduce them, briefing Padme about Boba's situation. Anakin highlighted the young bounty hunter's need for guidance. Being the compassionate person she was, Padme offered her apartment to Boba temporarily. Anakin assured Boba that he could continue bounty hunting for the Republic, which Boba deeply appreciated. When Padme arrived, the bond between Jedi and bounty hunter was palpable. Anakin facilitated introductions and they engaged in conversation. Boba, though, finding it curious that a Jedi and a senator were so closely connected, though he didn't dwell on it. For the first time, he actually felt a sense of belonging. Days passed smoothly for Boba. While he wasn't often at Padme's apartment, Padme's warmth made it feel like home. Boba realized how much he needed a maternal figure like Padme in his life. He maintained contact with Skywalker during missions, occasionally taking jobs for Republic intelligence. One day, an old bounty hunter friend offered Boba a meeting with the chancellor for a multiple-person job. Boba eagerly accepted, instructed to keep it a secret and to meet at the executive building the next day. Boba found the situation quite peculiar, but acquiesced nonetheless, gearing up for the forthcoming mission. Throughout the night, he toiled in the depths of the Undercity, making preparations, only to return to find Padme already gone for her duties in the Senate chamber. Rest was scarce as he attempted to recuperate, and come morning, he rendezvoused with the other bounty hunters, their destination now redirected to the industrial sector of Coruscant, instead of the executive building. Questioning the alteration, Boba learned from Bosk, a seasoned member of the crew, that the Chancellor had deemed the executive building too hazardous for their meeting. Boba proceeded on the journey, albeit harboring doubts about the promised reward, considering the high-profile nature of the clients. Following Palpatine's coordinates, they landed and were welcomed inside. Palpatine wasted no time, inquiring about the discretion of their trade and its potential repercussions. Bossk assured him of their willingness to undertake any task for the right compensation, earning a satisfied grin from the Chancellor. The deal was straightforward. 50,000 credits per head for the elimination of a senator. Though simple in concept, the gravity of the task was not lost on Palpatine, the clandestine orchestrator of the Clone Wars. The bounty hunters graciously accepted the proposition, eagerly anticipating the wealth. However, for Boba, moral conflict arose as he pondered the consequences of his actions. Desperate for financial independence from Padme's abode, he grappled with the revelation that his target was none other than Padme Amidala, the maternal figure. Upon glimpsing the information, Boba was seized by paralysis, unsure of his next move. He felt the urgent need to warn Padme, but how could he? He was trapped within the confines of his current predicament. He grappled with a pivotal decision: continue his pursuit for the bounty, or forsake his oath and alert the target. In the cockpit, laughter echoed among the bounty hunters as Boba appeared and swiftly dispatched all three with deadly precision, including Bossk. With the body strewn about, he took control of the ship, averting a collision course with a nearby building. Retrieving an old communicator shared with Anakin, Boba relayed the unfolding events, including his actions, to the Jedi Knight. Anakin's fury ignited at the revelation of Palpatine's treachery, struggling to reconcile his trust in his friend with the sinister reality. Though seething with rage, he maintained composure, instructing Boba to ensure Padme's safety and rendezvous at the Jedi Temple for consultation with the Council. Despite his lingering animosity towards the Jedi for his father's demise, Boba agreed, recognizing the gravity of the situation. Arriving at the temple, he found himself face to face with his father's killer, his anger simmering beneath the surface. Anakin addressed the council, disclosing Boba's role in uncovering Palpatine's nefarious plot to eliminate a dissenting Republic senator, demanding justice for the betrayal. The council murmured amongst themselves, deeply troubled by Anakin's sudden shift in allegiance from Palpatine. Yet, they granted Boba the opportunity to present his evidence, which he did meticulously, providing coordinates to the rendezvous points, furnishing a datapad brimming with incriminating details, and recounting Palpatine's evident apprehension. Boba's pointed gaze at Windu, coupled with his declaration regarding his father's demise, which came out of nowhere, elicited protests from both Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin Skywalker, but both were swiftly silenced by Windu's raised hand. Reflecting on his past actions, Windu acknowledged his regret, expressing remorse not only for Boba's loss, but also for leaving him bereft of guidance. Surprisingly, Boba found solace in Anakin's steadfast support, tempering with his unusual fury that normally would have probably made him end up in jail. Following deliberation, the council opted to take their findings to the Senate, where they unveiled the damning evidence. The subsequent vote of no confidence in Palpatine, backed by over 65% of the Senate, sealed his political demise. Swiftly, Republic forces mobilized to apprehend the fleeing Chancellor, reducing his support to a mere fraction of his former strength. As the scandal, dubbed Palpagate, reverberated throughout the galaxy, Count Dooku, leader of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, approached the Jedi Council with an intriguing proposition, offering to divulge Palpatine's whereabouts, revealing him as the Dark Side Lord Darth Sidious, in exchange for negotiating a peace that would preserve the CIS territories. Dooku sought to create a realm untainted by corruption and avarice. The Jedi, cautiously optimistic, agreed to the terms on the condition that Dooku would surrender himself for judgment alongside Palpatine. Recognizing Palpatine's vulnerability, Dooku believed his downfall would eradicate the true source of corruption within the Sith ranks. As Palpagate gained interstellar attention, Dooku began to reassess his allegiance, realizing the pernicious influence of the Sith. Dooku delivered a chilling revelation to the Jedi Council. Darth Sidious, the shadowy figure orchestrating the galaxy's chaos, was hiding on the Sith homeworld of Korriban. Taking a bold step, Dooku announced his intention to surrender himself, offering crucial information to aid the Jedi in the quest to confront the Sith Lord. Acknowledging the gravity of the situation, the Jedi swiftly organized a task force comprised of esteemed members including Mace Windu, Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Kit Fisto, and Saesee Tiin. Their mission: to confront the darkness and bring an end to the Sith menace. As the Jedi descended upon Korriban, they were enveloped by an overwhelming aura of malevolence. Before they could react, Saesee Tiin fell to a crimson blade, revealing the sinister presence of Darth Sidious himself, disguised as Chancellor Palpatine. With lightsabers ignited, the Jedi prepared for a battle against the embodiments of evil. Though Sidious initially gained the upper hand, the Jedi fought back with unwavering resolve. Sidious, cunning and powerful, hurled ancient Sith relics at the Jedi, incapacitating Ki-Adi-Mundi in the process. Despite the intensity of the battle, the Jedi remained resolute, knowing they faced a foe of unparalleled strength. In a moment of clarity, Mace Windu had found Sidious's shattered point, exploiting his opponent's vulnerability to strategic tendencies. With calculated precision, Mace orchestrated a series of deceptive maneuvers, ultimately delivering a decisive blow that felled the Sith Lord. As Sidious's lifeless form crumbled to the ground, a sense of relief washed over the Jedi, knowing that they had prevailed against darkness. Following the confrontation, Dooku willingly surrendered himself to the Jedi, paving a way for a new era of justice and peace. Amidst the turmoil, Senator Padme Amidala emerged as the beacon of hope, ultimately assuming the mantle of Chancellor and working tirelessly to forge a lasting peace. Under Padme's leadership, the Republic signed a historic peace treaty with the Separatists, officially bringing an end to the Clone Wars. With the galaxy at last united, the Jedi dedicated themselves to aiding in the reconstruction efforts and spreading hope to those in need. Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker and Boba Fett formed an unlikely bond, united by their shared experiences and a desire for redemption. As Anakin embraced his role as a husband and father, Boba learned an invaluable lesson in patience and strategy from his mentor. Padme and Anakin welcomed twins, Luke and Leia, into the world, their births symbolizing a new hope for the galaxy. With peace restored, Anakin made the difficult decision to leave the Jedi Order, prioritizing his family and his newfound responsibilities. Together, Anakin, Padme, and Boba embarked on a journey of healing and reconciliation, their bond serving as a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring spirit of the Jedi.